Of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, we made it this far this week, but now we're going to relax. We've done a lot of politics.
What day is it? Is it
It's
Wednesday?
Thursday.
Oh,
Thursday.
Thank Jesus.
Yeah, no kidding.
It feels like Friday or Monday felt like Friday. That was a bad way to start off the week.
Yes, it was, and we would do a lot of politics shows, which is great. I love it, but it's time to take a little break. Talk about the other side here, the Harvest House and what they got going on. The happy side. Well, I hope it's happy news. I saw the video you put on Facebook, and we'll show it later. You can tell me what it's about.
Yep.
And also, we'll be talking about this. I hope y'all can read it. Well, I guess you can. But it's the Lost Oak event coming up.
Vineyard Vibes.
Vineyard
It's the
Vibes.
Harvest House event.
Well, it's at Lost Oak.
I know, but it's the Harvest House event.
Yeah.
Just got to like,
And I was just as I was, getting ready to, post all this business. One of my Facebook friends said, I have a bunch of clothes and stuff. Where should I send it? Like,
Harvest House.
yeah, I said, your Harvest House. And she put a little heart by it. So you may see my friend Stephanie there.
Cool.
soon.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah, she needs to drop it by there. She's a nice young woman. She was a former student of mine. I say that a lot, but you live in the same town for all these years, you're going to run into a lot of your former students, whether they like it or not.
Right.
When I was a kid and I see my teacher at the grocery store or something like that, I thought, what?
Volume.
What are you doing here? Yeah, I got it. What do you know? It's like, no, you don't buy groceries. You don't go to the store.
You don't have a life. You're not a human. You're
One
just a
time I was at a
teacher.
friend's house and his parents were having a party, no wild thing, but they're walking around with wine glasses. And there was my 7th grade teacher there with a glass of wine. I thought, teachers don't drink. And then I found out once it became, boy, do they drink. So they can knock them back. But anyway, I, of course, was the designated driver. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so how's it been going at the Harvest House?
Good. It's been a crazy month.
Crazy month. Is this particularly crazy because it's April or just because it's the crazy month?
I just hate to tell you it's February, not April, but
I was reading this at the same time and say, I'm just way ahead of myself.
Yeah, no, it's been an interesting month. So, we ended the year super strong. So January, I was looking at January numbers yesterday because I was trying to figure out what our average number of families per day is. So January 2023, it was 31 families. January 2024 is 48 families. So it went from 350 something to 769. I mean, it's pretty significant, the difference.
Yes.
And so, normally our fall food drives, this sounds really weird. I don't know, it's echoey, but so our fall food drives used to take us, because we had 50,000 pounds of food donated. That used to take us through April. And it's gone. It's gone. Plus, all we have left are 4 pallets of green beans.
Is that what that video clip is about?
That's kind of what the video clip is
we'll show
about.
that about halfway through because I saw that and you were saying that you were short and all this. Have you been in contact with Debbie Beeman at Promises? Are they having the same problem?
I have not talked to Debbie. We have just been focusing on getting food in our pantry. And what? The community has been amazing. And we've had a couple just things that God did. Because that's what happens when you ask God, he actually answers, especially when it's feeding his people. And so the community has been amazing. And there's some people I met that had not really donated to Harvest House before. Maybe once a long time ago, somebody had donated a bike. I met her yesterday and she's like, I heard your video. And she brought a whole bunch of food from Kroger and had last night we had a semi truck because sometimes places can't donate. They go to, or I'm sorry, can't drop off. If they're going to Target, this particular instance was they're going to Target. It wasn't somewhere on, I don't know what you call it. I call it the manifest. I know that's not the word, but the list of foods or whatever. So they wouldn't accept it. So then the driver has to find a place to give it. The guy came from Denton because he Googled it and we came up first. And so he drove down from Denton and we got 8 pallets of coffee creamer and oat milk. And you think, oh, that's not, it is pretty necessary. And it's brand new. So it's not going to expire for months. It's not it's going to expire tomorrow. So we've got that and we're sharing it with a number of other food banks and pantries because it's way more than we need. And then just now as I was leaving, we had a whole pickup truck full of apples and fruit from the Cowtown Marathon that Paul Keys, who had worked with the Powhatan Marathon, encouraged them to bring it to us. So like now we got all this fresh fruit. We've got coffee creamers so everybody can wake up in the morning, and just the community has been stepping up. And I think the thing is, and for people to understand, like we get so much, but it goes so fast.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's got to be constant. And giving was very far down in February. You know,
Paying bills, I guess, from Christmas, maybe.
I guess, but like it was significantly different. January and February were down, so the cash, and that's how we, you know, pay our bills and buy food when we need to and stuff. So, as I've been talking to people, just really encouraging that monthly donor. You know, I appreciate that you are a monthly donor, and you know, I know you don't need to shout out. I know that's not why you do it, but like. It doesn't have to be $100. I mean, I have people who I have one person that gives $7.25 a month.
I'm not giving $100, I'm afraid.
I know you're not.
I wish I had that kind of money to throw around like that.
It doesn't matter. That's my point. Like, I have somebody who gives $7.25 a month. Got some that do 5, some that do 10, some that do 100 or 500 or whatever. But most people do 25 or 30, and that just significantly makes a difference. And so whether you have your food ordered and delivered, because Walmart, Amazon, Kroger, all of them will do that, or if you drop it off, or if you provide cash so that we buy what we need. I mean, it's what keeps us going. And the reality is, like, you're not giving it to me, and you're not even really giving it to Harvest House. You're giving it to the families who are struggling. And the reality is they're just struggling.
Yeah, you know what keeps me going? It's my sponsors.
Hey, oh wait, we haven't started the show yet.
Yeah, right.
He asked me a question.
I know. I just, she'll take a breath in a minute. Anyway.
No, I won't. Haven't you met me?
Yes, that's right. You're very enthusiastic. But please.
Sorry.
Hurry, Taylor.
Let's give your sponsors a super shout out. Our Place.
Yes.
Hey, do you want me to do it for you?
Sure.
All right, Our Place restaurant. Otto, he's over there. He's awesome. He's also a big supporter of ours, and his food is amazing.
I was there this morning. I had their huevos rancheros for the first time. I had differentiated it, and it was really good.
Their food, I have never eaten anything there that I didn't like.
Exactly right. I'll be there Friday as well.
Hey, have you had the Texas sampler?
You know, I'm going to have to try something like that, because I get into this, like, I want to try something, but I miss out on the chicken fried steak.
Well, it has it.
Okay.
The Texas sampler is like chicken fried steak and biscuits and eggs, and it's just piled, and it is so good. It's one of those things that'll get you through the whole year because it's enough calories.
Yeah, well, okay.
I'm so hungry now.
Speaking of which,
sorry.
He sent us a photo about his pizza joint, and look on the screen right there. See, he's on the TV screen. He was running my show while they were working.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
That is awesome.
Well, it's great for not just the show, but he's going to do a lot of community-oriented
They're
stuff.
playing Friends, too.
Yeah, right. They were. They'll probably watch Friends, but I went by there this morning to try to catch him. He said he'd be there in and out all day, and he must have been on the phone. So but I saw the place. It's going to be very popular. They're playing blues music over the the radio, whatever. And they had it's. I don't know exactly when they'll be open, but it's going to be very, very soon, within a couple of weeks, I would guess. And it's going to be very popular. And
I'm so excited.
I don't know if they're going to have a full bar, but I know they're going to have beer and wine. And I don't know of another pizza joint that does. And,
not anymore.
And pizza without wine or beers, just okay. So.
Well, later when we talk about it, because I'm going to let you do your sponsors, I'll tell you what I like.
Okay.
Pizza.
Well, but it's going to be a very popular place, and he's very busy. But I'm going to try to get hold of him because I got an idea to throw by him.
Nice.
Also, thank you to Wild Cigar. I was there just yesterday. I was talking to Nathan, who runs the joint, and they got several of their vendors coming in. They got one coming in April, and another one like March 8th. I think Perdomo is the name of the brand. Now, I'm not a cigar aficionado that I know the names. Apparently they get some pretty good amount of attention from the high-end cigar manufacturers because they're one of the best known in this area for having that humidor.
Well, Wild Cigars is going to be a vendor at Vineyard Vibes, which we're going to keep talking about all day long. But they're going to be a vendor there, and we're excited to have them. And so you can come out and listen to music, drink some wine, or not drink wine, whatever you want.
Well, it's at Lost Oak. You're going to have some wine. They have really good wine.
But a lot of people don't drink wine.
Well, I know.
Yeah, but come out and drink wine and come out and have a cigar.
But Jessica Valley Reams had her event there in early February for Fitability at Lost Oak, and it was It was very nice. And you also, I see Susie and the Sizzies are on there. They played then as well. So everybody knows
I didn't
Susie
know.
Morgan. Yeah. Susie's been around for, well, when I say forever, it makes it sound her older than she is, but she's been here in the Burleson scene
Yep.
for quite
We're
some time.
excited about that.
So thank you, Wild, for all you're doing.
Yeah.
And next Tuesday, I got Tiffany and Nico coming in to talk about our latest edition of Local Life.
Nice.
And also the St. Patrick's Day pub. It's fun.
pub crawl?
Yeah, pub crawl. Because what gets to me about the pub crawl or any of these other things is like, I don't have a lick of Irish in me until that day. I made the same joke, but it's like also Cinco de Mayo or, some German event, Oktoberfest and whatever. It's like, jawohl, hey, it's an excuse to drink beer practically. They'll do, assume the identity. What is it called? When you steal somebody's culture or whatever.
Assimilation.
Well, no, it's when you it's like when you dress up in the wrong outfit, like if you're a white boy and you dress up as a cow, Indian or something like that, people say that's cultural appropriation. That's what it is.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Yeah, the young kids know what it's about. It's when somebody takes on some culture, for costume, whatever else. And
Interesting.
So everybody will be culturally appropriating the Irish. Also, thank you.
I learned something today.
Yeah, there you go. Southern Gym, of course. I was there yesterday as well. Little sponsor care, as they call it, and they're doing great. They got a big thing coming up on May 4th. That May 4th is going to be a red letter day in Burleson because you have the elections that day. You have Lisa Schwartz City on a hill, and then later that afternoon you're going to have this. It's called May the 4th, and everybody does the Star Wars thing, but May the 4th also is Kentucky Derby Day, and Gail is really big into the Kentucky Derby and horse racing.
She's doing an event for
Wings of Hope.
Wings of Hope. I was like, I can't remember which organization it was, but yes,
Yeah, she's doing Wings of Hope, and
that makes sense.
And I saw them Wings of Hope at the Burleson Showcase on Saturday, which was excellent. I'm going to see Melissa Miller on Monday. We're going to talk about that, and I got to know the lady who runs that, and it's a pretty interesting type of therapy.
I used to work at an equine therapy place.
Well, I don't know
really
much
amazing.
about it, but apparently it really is very, very effective.
It's so effective. It's great. Yep.
And so run out there to Southern Gym, buy some jewelry, or need some repairs. There you go.
She just fixed some of my rings, so that
Did
was
she?
cool. Gail is awesome.
Yes, she is.
Does a great job.
Also, thank you to our friends over at Two Maids. This is Brenda Ramirez. What they have is they'll take care of your home, your apartment, your business. They do windmiller building, so they do a big jobs as well. And they will get paid based on the rating you give them. So the people doing it are going to not waste time, but they're not going to do a mediocre job either. They're going to do the best job they can because they get paid on that basis. Yeah. So Brenda's very very
I definitely
sharp,
take their phone number.
She's a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, so she's been walking tall on the BNI meetings. Like, okay, thanks. She goes, oh.
Brenda, if you're watching, reach out to me. I need to talk to you.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
There's the number.
Here, I'll take it right here. You just keep talking. I'm going to take a picture of your screen.
Okay. Well, I'll send you some of the contact information afterwards.
I got it.
Two Maids. Is this for Harvest House or for your house? Because they do both.
I don't know yet.
They do both.
I don't know yet.
All right. TwoMaidsCleaning.com/Burleson 817-764-0733. Next one, Old Pro Roofing here in Old Town. John Williams is a very fine young man. 817-734-2756. He'll come check your roof out and tell you what the true status is, good, bad, or indifferent. And, these are home folks. And so you know where to find them. I always like to do business with people in town for various reasons, but one of them is you know where they're at. And they pay taxes. And they employ our people. And they donate, right?
So they were sponsored last year for Harvest House Vineyard Vibes.
Well.
And we appreciate it.
Well, they're just good people, and they really are.
They do good work.
817-734-2756. Also, Camco Mortgage, Sammy Campbell, Candy Gow, they've been doing it in this area for 20 years for various groups, and now they're doing it for their own group. And they're doing pretty well. Candy, I saw her yesterday. She's part of the BNI group. So you can call her at 817-925-2661. Sammy at 817-778-4592. They really are nice people. I've been over there a few times in their new, sponsor care, as I call it. I like to keep in touch so they don't feel like I've forgotten them or whatever. And they're just good people. And so they'll tell you what's going on, and they'll work hard at it, and they'll tell you what's going on with the rates. Now, as far as the nonprofits, we got a couple of things going on. I know Next Step, this is the last day for matched giving. And Megan put out an all points bulletin. They need a few more bucks to make that $15,000 total.
How did I miss that?
Well, I don't know. It's a lot going on, you know.
There is a lot going on, but I love Next Steps. I support Next Steps.
Yeah, I do too.
Step. Next Step.
Well, they have a Walk for Life. I'm sure they'll be on the show before the end. I know
April 20th.
Yeah, I thought it was like we were joking about with Megan because 420 is a joke. That you know what the joke is for 420.
What is it, Mr. Allard?
When you're a teacher, you find these things out. It's 420 is the code for. Okay, there you go. Anyway, so we're good to go. Anyway, thank you for Next Step Women's Center. Also, we have this is going on today. I don't know if you hear today, but it's also tomorrow. If you hear tomorrow, Reach Across Johnson County is doing a prom pop-up. They have a whole bunch of dresses, and they're donated from Whatchamacallit up in Fort Worth.
Oh, cool.
And other places. And people donated dresses, to me, it's crazy. They spend all this money on a dress, and you wear it one time, but there you go. I guess that same applies for a wedding dress, but that's, it's another waste. But anyway,
right.
Just wear a nice shirt and move on. But anyway, February 29th and March 1st, today and tomorrow, you go over to First Baptist from 3:30 to 8 o'clock. I'm looking at the screen. There's a little glare on it.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they'll help you out. And they've got ladies there and a couple of men there to help the young men, put on suits and try them out. And all. In fact, I was talking to Tim Good, who's our district attorney candidate. He's going to be there. Now, he's not going to be there to politicize and campaign, but he felt like that was a good thing. Apparently, he has been in contact with Reach prior to even running for office. That's a lot going on.
That is a lot going on.
Well, February and March and April and May are like the high points for fundraising, isn't it? It seems like it. Well, every group.
Well, it's because the weather's nice. It's easy to do stuff outside.
Mm-hmm.
Summer, everybody's doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, people, I think, expect it almost. And you're trying to get all your stuff coordinated so you don't, step on each other's programs or whatever else, because I know how well y'all work together.
Yeah, we try. I mean, it happens sometimes, but there's only so much you can do because there's only so much time. So
yes. But, I think it's this event you have.
Yes.
You're still trying to find it. Don't send it to Taylor. Right?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, anyway, this Vineyards and Vibes. Tell us all about it.
So Vineyard Vibes.
Oh, there it is.
Hey, there's a sponsorship.
Oh, I see. I thought that a symbol. I wasn't wearing my glasses. I thought there was a little ampersand thing. No, it's a guy playing a guitar.
It's a guy playing a guitar.
Oh my.
So Vineyard Vibes is it's our 4th annual, celebrating our 40th anniversary at Harvest House. We are 40 years old, and so what we're doing is, just like we've done before, we've got music. We have Texas Whiskey and You, which is a Chris Stapleton tribute band.
Oh, and then you had Texas Whiskey out there.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? No.
No.
And then Riley Gilbreth and Lone Star Blue. Now, they are from Crowley. Mm-hmm. And I haven't heard them personally, but they are supposed to be absolutely outstanding bluegrass music.
I already like bluegrass.
So it's fun. So we got little Chris Stapleton, then we got Riley Gilbreth, and then we've got Susie and the Sissies coming. And I think it's just going to be a nice mix of music. The event is always nice. Even if it's bad weather, we can go inside. We're doing really select vendors this year. So we're inviting vendors to really make it, we're trying to reach out to small businesses to support them like wild and stuff, to make sure people know them. And it's going to be a lot of like intentional vendors. So it's not just going to be the same as sometimes you go out and there's like 50 of the same vendors.
Right.
That won't happen. We got, I know we have Dub's Barbecue coming. That's the one food truck. We'll have more food trucks than that. And if you haven't had Dub's before, it is excellent.
Okay.
So we're reaching out to some others, and that's it's just a fun afternoon of like, bring your friends, sit down, talk, listen to great music. Mm-hmm. It's just fun.
This Burleson area must be the barbecue capital of the world. I mean,
it's getting to be.
There's barbecue places all over, and apparently they're doing business, so they're all making money. We just love our barbecue here.
I guess.
When I first moved here in 91, I thought all I saw were dry cleaners, nail salons, and there was a couple of pizza joints. Gina's one of them.
Right.
But like a Mr. Jim's and whatever else, but there wasn't much else. Now it's like,
much.
Living in Manhattan here, but
I know, right?
Right. So
Is there a QR code on that?
I don't see one. No.
Okay, well,
No, I'm trying to find
sorry.
another graphic.
But
Okay.
if you go to yourharvesthouse.org, it's really easy. But that's where I think sometimes it's easier to do that than the QR code anyway.
So a title sponsor can cough up about $10,000. I mean,
Yes.
I wish I could do that, but
So HEB has come in as a title sponsor. So if you
Okay,
want to
they
do
got the
that,
wallet.
if you want to do that, well, but HEB doesn't always give to small little organizations like this. So I'm like really ecstatic about that.
I would hate to be the person to have to say no. I mean, I bet HEB gets a lot of requests.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
But they have specific partners. We've got MW Star Texan Home coming in. They're abundant sponsor. No, they're a blessing sponsor. And we have, there's just so Sierra Bank and
Yeah.
Alpha and Omega. I mean, those are a few that off the top of my
Alpha
head.
Omega, that'd be the pesticide company.
Alpha and Omega Pest Control. So
Yeah,
there's
pest
a lot
control,
more
yeah,
than
right,
that. So I'm
right.
sorry to people I'm not saying. But
Yeah.
our goal is to raise $60,000 for this event. In the past, we've done our Harvest Feast. And this is just such a fun event. So we're putting a little more energy into this because it's a little more fun to go to a music festival than to have to go to a gala. I mean, not that I don't like galas because I do. They have their place. And so we are having our brunch in the fall, which is our Harvest Brunch. That'll be happening September 26th is when we're going to have that Harvest Brunch. That's just for information.
Wow. Right after probably the Giving Day again.
Yep.
You probably have that on the schedule, I hope.
Oh, yes, we do.
For an
Yep.
appearance here.
Yep.
Yes.
So.
If I didn't do that, I'd have you and Lisa and a few others say, "Hey, what's your problem?" But anyway, no, there's a lot of generous people here, and that's really good. $60,000. I bet you're going to hit that goal. I bet you are.
I hope so. And actually, we've updated. I need to give you an updated one of these.
By the way,
because-
you told me about somebody that was helping you out. Well, I want to give them a shout out. Who was it?
Oh, yeah. So we have a client that needed some car assistance, and Hoover Automotive is our go-to right now. They are just amazing. Mike Hoover over there will just help us out and make it so that we can affordably do it. Because a lot of times, I mean, if we don't fix this car, this person can't get to work, and they're also a ride for somebody else to get to work. So two people wouldn't be able to work if they can't get their car fixed. And, they work super hard. They just don't make a ton of money. And so, we just want to help, and we can't always do it, but sometimes we can. And when we can, it's great. So in some ways, we're doing a 2-for-1 because of the fact that this person's a ride for another person as well.
Well, thank you, Hoover Automotive. That's what we have here in this town, these kind of people.
Yes, we do.
You mentioned Otto earlier and others. That's, I talked to all you ladies that run these things, and it just amazes me. I don't know if other communities have this kind of support for these kind of projects.
When I talk to people, I don't think they do. And so I'm like, I don't know what I would do in a different community. I mean, they do, but a lot of times it helps that we're small. I mean, if you're in Tarrant County or Fort Worth, I mean, it's harder just because there's so many people, and we can just say, here's our boundary a little bit, here's Johnson County. But yeah, it's, we've got great people.
Yes. And I hear stories kind of like yours, like, you were in a situation, it's going to be tight, things are not going to, it's going to be close. And then boom, here comes a guy with a bunch of apples and oranges and stuff like that.
Yep.
Right. And here come some other guys that, donated, and maybe or maybe not, they were responding to what you posted or whatnot, or it just happened, and you like say, God come through and that kind of thing.
And we have a person that every month says, give me your list of what you need. And he buys everything on the list.
And he wants to be anonymous, huh?
Oh, 100%.
I know.
100%. I honestly don't even know his name, if you really want to know the truth.
Well, that's good.
And because it's not about, I mean, I understand businesses, and I don't think there's anything wrong with getting credit by any means, but there are just some people who are like, it's nobody's business what I'm doing with my money and giving, and this is just between me and God, or me and myself, or whatever, it just, and I like that. It's
well, cool. I could see that from a personal level, but I do like to shout out for people
100%. That's what I'm saying.
It's Hoover Automotive, because even though they didn't do that for that purpose, I think people sometimes need to know their neighbors are pretty good people sometimes, because sometimes we get so dialed in on the crap, that we're dealing with, or you get on social media and whatever, and we sometimes think everybody's nuts. And sometimes we need to hear stories like some of these sponsors. I know that Gala is, giving money to the Wings of Hope on that fourth.
Gala has always said, hey, if you guys need anything, let me know. And like, so we get a lot of jewelry donated. I was actually just going to say this, and we bring it to her, and she helps us to identify, is it real or not real, some value, so we know how to price it in our store or what to do with it. And that's always really nice.
Well, that, I didn't know that, but see, she wouldn't put that on her brochure or whatever,
No, she just wants to help. I mean, she just wants to help. And
yeah. Now, this video clip that we're about to see, what sparked it? I mean, you were showing some empty shelves, right? Is that what you were talking about just before the show? We were talking about how things are getting a little tight.
So
and then
Monday, so we get food on Mondays generally. That's our big influx day. And we got to Monday, and no, actually that's not true. It was noon on Tuesday, excuse me. And the staff came to me and they're like, we need to go shopping. We are really low on all these things. And so I went back there and I was like, oh my gosh, So I was like, we just hadn't let the community know recently where we were at. We always put our list out, but I think sometimes we don't share the urgency. We communicate and say, hey, this is our list for this week. And I've been out in a lot of meetings and stuff lately, so I wasn't really kind of in touch with that. And it was like, let's ask the community, because this community likes to take care of each other. And so I put my little thing that said desperately seeking food. And
I know the reference, us older folks.
Oh no, it's just was funny. But anyway, so I put it out there, and it was really last minute. I was actually late picking my daughter up for her orthodontist appointment, so she was mad. But I was like, it just was really urgent to me. Like, we can't just sit and, you have to ask and you have to let people know when you have a need. So I just walked through because I hadn't been in the pantry for a few days, and I was like, oh my gosh, how is this even possible? Because we just got all this food. It just is going so fast. Like I told you our numbers. I mean, so that 48 families, I mean, that's 48 times anywhere from 3 to 5 people in that family. I didn't get the actual totals of individuals. That's just family households. So that's what that was.
Well, let's see the clip then, Taylor. I know you pulled it off your Facebook page, and so he's Mr. Wizard. So we'll see what we got here.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon, Burleson. It's Jennifer Woods here. I am here at the Harvest House, and I just wanted to share a little bit. We are desperately seeking food this afternoon. We did just get some fresh food in from the commissary, which we're very excited about, but our canned foods and different things like that are pretty low. Things like ravioli, ramen, hamburger helper type items, they are completely gone. And we were just looking at numbers because we were like, what is going on? And we did just some averaging and figuring out. Last year we served an average of 31 families a day, and this year it's been 48 families a day. I'm sorry, that was in January, and we've had even higher numbers here in February. You may see over on Burleson Residents Talking and other places, we've got all the food houses around town where people can go by the library. They're emptying out really, really fast. The same thing is happening here, and we desperately need help. You can donate cash online, or you can drop off food. You can have your food delivered from Walmart or Kroger. So I'm just going to show you around here just a little bit. There's a couple aisles that do have food, but we're serving quite a few. So we had 769 families in January. So yes, we have some, but this is the canned tuna and stuff that we have. This is normally like our hamburger helpers, things like that. We've got some stovetop and a couple of kits. Over here we have some almond flour and some cookies and things like that. I think this one's normally, it's usually canned fruit. You can see we have none. We do not need green beans. I have 4 pallets of green beans, so that is not something we need. This is all we have left of our raviolis. Right now we have our numbers of how much everybody can get down just a little bit to make sure we can share the wealth. This is the rest of our ramen noodles, and obviously all of us were raised on ramen noodles, and so that's an essential food for us. These are things like condiments. We have some a few things, but this is places where we might have, like this is a stew packet. Things that you can make meals out of easily. We're trying also to provide meals. So as you're donating, think, what am I going to have? I'm going to have spaghetti for dinner. So maybe spaghetti sauce, noodles, and maybe a salad kit with it. We do have a walk-in refrigerator. This is normally rice and things like that. Mashed potatoes, dried mashed potatoes. Here's what we have for our tomato products. We just had like $50,000 pounds of food donated in the fall, right before the holidays, and it is absolutely insane to think that we've gone through most of that food except for our 4 pallets of green beans. And
well, there's no doubt why. Yuck.
We serve a lot of people here at Harvest House, and we're happy to, and we want to always be able to hand people food. We know that God will always provide. This is our fresh fruits and vegetables. We do have some. We did just get a order from the commissary, so we did just get some fresh dairy items, and I know we have some more salads, but they, like I said, they'll go fast because everybody likes fresh food, fresh fruits and vegetables. Lots of green beans. Then the other thing, we actually are doing okay on cereal right now. That's kind of unusual. It's normally one of our first items that are gone. And these are drinks like tea, breakfast items, oatmeal, things like that. So I'm just being straight up. I'm not going to do anything but just ask for help. We are not doing it. It's not, you're not helping me. You're helping our community. You're helping all the families who are very hungry. And there are just so many people who are hungry right now. I have been here for 7.5 years. I've never seen anything like it. And so I just ask that you would be generous. If everybody donated just a little bit, it would go a really long way. And like you said, you can have it delivered between 9 and 3 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and until 2 o'clock on Fridays. And we just need you. We cannot do this. This is a community organization, and whether it's financial assistance, whether it's food, we want to be here for everybody, and we're doing our best. And we know this community is doing their best, and they are so generous. And so I'm just asking for you to help us, and we just thank you for always supporting us. Our address is 349 Northwest Renfro. Our donation site is www.yourharvesthouse.org, and you can donate there. And if you have any questions, you can call our office, 817-295-6252. And we will be here tomorrow serving people because God is going to provide, and we always have more than enough to give to people. So we're excited to let you be a part of being God's hands and feet because we can't do it alone. And I thank you so much. And I know a lot of people are still coming on and leaving. Just the summary is that our food bank our pantry is pretty low today. It's the end of the month. That happens. We have some bigger pickups that will happen next week, but it's been a low donation month. This is kind of normal for the first of the year, but we don't normally serve 760 families, 9 families in a month, so or more, and that's been just an ongoing thing that we're serving closer to 1,000 families every month. And we just want to be here. We want to make sure that we're taking care of our neighbors because we just love our neighbors. We love the people who walk through our door. You're just you and me. Most of us have needed a pantry at some point in our lives or help. And we just want to be here and make sure that everybody is fed and has healthy foods. So if you're willing, please share this post, drop off some stuff, or do whatever. We know God will provide because he always does. Isaiah 58, go read it. I'm just going to tell you that. Isaiah 58 is the best chapter. Just talks about taking care of the hungry. And when you help those who are hungry, then you are helping be the hands and feet of Christ. And if you don't believe, that's okay too. You don't have to be a believer to come here. You don't have to be a believer to support here. We just want to help hungry people. We thank you so much and hope to see you. And please share this video.
Well, you do this very well.
You should say, girl, can you stop and take a breath and put
Yeah.
a period on some of the ends of those thoughts?
No. I think people,
There's like a big run-on sentence.
no, people know you get to working on that train of thought.
Gosh, I just get crazy. I get so hard to watch.
I was watching that, and first of all, no wonder you have green beans. I mean, who wants those? I hate them.
There's a lot of people who like green beans,
I
but
don't know,
they're
but
the
they're-
cheapest, and so we always have an abundant. I literally have 4 pallets of green beans, and it's like we want. I mean, I really don't mind green beans, and I don't hate canned green beans.
Oh, I hate canned green beans.
I think my husband was given too many. It's a big joke in the family. That's why I'm sharing. But like, he will not touch a green bean.
I'll eat them if they're steamed over something, and put a little butter or whatever, and I'll force myself. But canned green beans, I'll say no. I'll just lose weight for a while. But as far as the giving, I've told you this story before about when I was doing student council, and we came in with this huge load right as they were down to like literally their last sack of groceries. Does it get like this routinely, or is this pretty different situation?
We have not had this happen since probably my second year here. I mean, it used to be pretty common that we would just run out. I mean, it was not. It's been probably since 2018, 2019, since I've seen, and it happens. I mean, sometimes we just have days. This was just kind of strange. And then it was just kind of a strange thing. So no, it doesn't always. I think it's just how fast we're going through it is what's amazing to me.
This really is not as well reported in the national media as you might think, because all you get in the national media is the economy's doing better, the inflation's coming down. Well, I'm about to go get mugged at the grocery store after I leave here, and so I think that contributes to a lot of the reason why people are angry, because they're being told one thing, but they're experiencing another. And what you're seeing is on ground level, you're seeing more and more people experiencing that this economy is rough.
It is really rough.
And they don't. I don't care about. Last quarter our GDP went up 2.4%. It's not showing itself.
But
on
if
the
you
ground.
talk to like Walmart and stuff, what they're seeing is that people are just buying the essentials. Essentials and beauty. Like those are the things that they're pretty much recession proof, hair products and different things like that, even some makeup. But it's really a big deal. And so Philip Shelton, who's the general manager at Walmart, is on my board, and he talks about it. And it's really interesting because a lot of times the patterns hit retail right before they hit the pantries. So in some ways, it's kind of like canary in the mine, kind of thing, to be able to go, okay, this is what's coming. And even though prices on certain things have come down, so many other things are still up. So a lot of the basics, and I know at Christmas, and this is kind of a shout out to Walmart, which I haven't ever done before, but I'm learning. But if you went shopping at Walmart at Christmas, there were a lot of items that Walmart intentionally reduced their price on, so that your kits, like that whole seasonal thing right when you walk in there, all of those things had been drastically reduced. And once I was told that, I was like, oh, I can see that. I saw the price difference, but it was an intentional thing done by corporate to try to help families. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I know corporations are for profit and stockholders and shareholders, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of them that really are good humanitarians and good citizens of the community, and you mentioned HEB, and we mentioned
Absolutely.
the City Market and these others like that, that are citizens of the community as much as anything else. But, when you talk about some of the prices coming down, they're coming down from what they were about a year ago, but the year ago they were like twice as high as they were 3 years ago. And people, I think it rose so fast that it was shocking. And then you have also, they talk about all these jobs that are being created. Most of them are part-time without benefits, and like last month, 335,000 jobs were created. Well, they dug into the stats, 275,000 of them were part-time. And so,
they're not livable salaries.
No, they're not.
I mean, because most of the people who come to us are working. I mean, that's just the reality. They're working. They're just underpaid. I mean, it's hard to, I'm not getting into a minimum wage discussion because I have all kinds of thoughts that all over the place. But, you can hardly get a staff person for less than $13, $15 an hour, And I mean, there are some of our jobs that are less than that, but like we do the very best we can as a nonprofit because there's only so much we can do. But, you know, we do our best to try. But the other thing that's really impacting, and it's just going to make it worse now, all these fires up in Amarillo, which, oh my gosh, we need to be praying for them.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary. Because like they said, we're not in a drought, but it hasn't greened out yet. And so everything is dry. But that's another story. But all the natural disasters, they're pushing up our insurance rates. And I mean, if you talk to any insurance person, so if you're listening, you need to talk to your insurance agent because they're automatically making a 2% deductible now on your roof.
Right.
And different things like that because it's the only way they can afford to do.
It's interesting you bring up roofs because John Williams yesterday at the BNI meeting with Old Pro talked about, you know, the difficulties insurance companies are putting in front of a lot of these insureds because of the expense. But also, by the way, he said that last March 1st, we had a massive storm here in Burleson. It caused a lot of damage. Well, today is the deadline to file. If you had damage from it, tomorrow it's too late.
Yep.
And but that was just a side note. But you're right. Another friend of mine at BNI has family in Pampa, and he was talking about it was just it was just devastated up there. And what's going to happen?
We have a guy in one of my networking groups, the Burleson Business Connections. He's actually from Canadian. And that's the town that's like completely surrounded. If you didn't get out, you're not getting out. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it is, and it's I don't know if it'll affect you directly. It's I don't know. It's like maybe in some indirect way it would because you know maybe people's attention and resources will go up there, which are needed, and that kind of thing might do it. I remember when Bastrop is having all these fires. I mean, there was tons of stuff going down there, but it also meant that people who had limited means were sending their money and or water bottles or whatever to Bastrop, but they didn't have enough to continue giving to locals because you know it just not everybody has that kind of ability. So you know, it's not surprising that the need is up. It's not surprising that people have responded, but you still need a lot of things even now. I mean, I know you got some response, but what do you need right now?
We need the same things. You know, we need meat and we need fresh vegetables. Like those are great because people love them. But I had mentioned the meal kits, things like Hamburger Helper. We had got, I don't know where it came from, but we had like boxes of frozen pizzas. You know, we have a walk-in freezer, we have a walk-in refrigerator, you know, so fresh milk, eggs, all of those things. I mean, what do you eat? Because that's what we need, you know? I mean, and think of the basics, peanut butter, jelly, tuna, canned chicken. We do have a list on our website. I don't know, Taylor, if you want to look at it or not, but it has the list. And every week we update it there, and we update it on Facebook. And we update it on our billboard on above HTO. So those are places, and on our marquee. So you can always see right there. There's also the Vineyard Vibes thing where you can scan. But next that is this week's list.
That screen is about 5 seconds ahead of this screen.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Okay. Well, it is this week's list. It is updated every Monday. So this is what we need. And you can see like the raviolis, noodles, because spaghetti, I mean, everybody eats spaghetti. So ground beef to go with that.
When you talk about meat, though, you know, meat is really expensive. You know, honestly,
yes, it is.
Unless you're, you know, even hamburger.
It's like everything. Okay, this is what I determined. Everything is $7.
Yeah, well, like when I go to the store today, I'll buy a pound of hamburger, and it's like $5.59, $5.98. You know, and you probably need more than a pound. You know, so that.
Well, if you're making spaghetti, you can get away with a pound of food.
Yeah, right. But I'm just saying, you as a Harvest House, you need a bunch.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
but if you bought me one, that would help a family.
I guess so.
So, like, people are like, "Oh, I can't." So what? Buy one. I mean, that makes a difference because if you buy noodles, sauce, and ground beef, or a hamburger helper thing, plus whatever you might need to add to that, that's a meal for a family. So, like, it makes a difference. And I think sometimes people think, oh, that dollar. Well, that dollar might buy, well, it used to be 2 cans of something. Now it's one.
Right.
But you're still buying, a dollar really does still help. And so I don't want people to undermine that. Like it makes a difference.
Well, it's, you know, we've referred to this scriptural anecdote, I suppose, or episode, the widow's mites, you know, and loaves and fishes come to mind and
Absolutely.
all this. But, you know, in our house, at the Allard house, we eat a lot more chicken than I like. I'm not a big chicken guy, but we do it because that's what fits our budget better. It wasn't like we were eating filet every 3 days,
Right.
anything like that. But the higher end cuts of meat we would have maybe once or twice a month,
Right.
unless they're on sale. We don't and we're in a position we could take care of ourselves. So for somebody that's maybe working, single mom, 2 kids,
Absolutely.
what thing that always worries me is when I go to like a convenience store and I'm buying gas or I'm going to buy a bottle of water, and I see kids and their moms buying food that is so bad for them, high sugar, high starch, and it kind of hurts my heart, not physically, but also emotionally.
Yeah, I
to see,
understand.
because these kids are, like 8 years old and they're going to school on donuts and chocolate milk. And it's easy to go, that mother's not taking care of that kid. That may be the only thing they can afford,
Yeah.
and that's what bothers me.
Well, and if you live in a food desert, which even like East Renfro is really a food desert.
It really is. I mean,
the
it's
east side of-
Sonic and Via Diana, and that's about it, right?
There's a Dollar General down there and a
Yeah.
couple gas stations, but that's how you know if literally, I swear, if there's I don't know offense to Dollar General, but like pretty much if there's a Dollar General, you're in a food desert.
Yeah, well, we have one about a quarter mile from my house. Out in the country, they're always on the edge of town.
Yep.
And I don't knock Dollar General because they have a certain clientele that probably otherwise wouldn't be served. But
Well, when I used to live out in Lillian, I mean, we had Dollar General. I was so grateful because I could go get milk and eggs and just the basics. And but that's what people can do.
or Aldi's, I've been in there a couple of times recently. Why? Because
Well, it's just not on the east side of Renfro.
right, I know, right. But it's funny you bring up food deserts because I read 2 articles yesterday about food deserts being a real political problem more than anything
Yes.
else. But
We get into red line districts. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, the fact that certain areas of town don't have not just grocery stores, but they just don't have access to decent food.
Yep.
And we can get into the politics and the snide comments about why they don't go there and all this other stuff. But the point is that a lot of people have terrible, terrible diets, but not because they're lazy
Yep.
or whatever, but because that's what it is, what they can afford.
Well, mac and cheese is $1-ish, so you have a stick of butter and some milk. You could eat that for a week. Well, the carbs and the processedness of it, you're going to be overweight. You're going to have all kinds of diabetes, all those things. And so
Raising
then
my hand.
But then you start getting into those and, there's just a lot of health things. And so we really try. And as we move forward, our goals is to have healthier foods. And when I first started, the only meat you got at Harvest House was a can of tuna.
Right. Well,
And occasionally a can of chicken. So even that was one of the things I remember thinking, in my house, I'm more likely to eat that canned chicken than the canned tuna. So we kind of started, it was a little more expensive, but we started buying canned chicken instead of tuna, or balancing it out more so that because you can make chicken salad out of it. Tuna can just go so far, and tuna noodle casserole, never feed that to me ever again in my life.
I could do
See,
without
that
it.
was my poverty raising of like tuna noodle. Oh. I like a tuna sandwich, but don't give me a tuna noodle casserole. Ooh.
When I was younger, like real small, we had a very middle class income, and we ate like it. We ate a lot of beans and pinto beans and cornbread and all that. And what was considered to be meat would be like a Salisbury steak or chicken fried steak, right?
Yummy, yeah.
When my dad's career was moving up, and by the time I was in high school, we were doing pretty decently. We still ate like that, because it was just the way we were brought up.
Yeah.
My dad was brought up that way. My mother was brought up that way. I'm afraid that a lot of these younger people have been brought up on McDonald's.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'll raise my hand to that. Like, we are that family. And it's like, we used to live in Lillian. My husband and I worked in Grand Prairie, and I worked in Irving. And our kids were in daycare in Burleson. And so we were constantly eating fast food. Well, we haven't totally broken that because of this, and it's not a good thing. We've gotten really a lot better even just recently of like, making more homemade dishes, but it's all about the planning ahead because now sports and all these things. And
Oh, yes, I'm familiar. I mean, it's like, what do I got to make now? My wife and I used to go out some. We never were like 3 times a week type people, but we hardly go out maybe twice a month now.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's expense, right? Now,
absolutely.
And when we go out, it really is autos because we like the food. And if we're going to spend money, we want to support and eat good food, right? But we've gone to a couple other restaurants. We got a lot of good restaurants in Burleson. And so if we want to we've gone to the fish place, Fish City. It's good. Robin loves fish, and that kind of thing. But it just, you can't do that as often as you used to.
Absolutely not, because you go to like Cane's, it's $11, $12 just for a 3 chicken tender, and you're like, $11, that's $40 for $45 or $50 for my family to eat fast food. And you go, there's something wrong here.
Well, again, I'm not just, shining up Otto, but that's the reason I go there is because I get quality for what I pay, and you can't always guarantee that. Plus, fast food is, it's more expensive. I went to a McDonald's for the first time. I was driving up to see my cousin in Oklahoma early December.
Okay.
And I stopped in Iowa Park, which is just north of Wichita Falls, and because I was kind of hungry, and I got a couple of, quarter pounders and water or something like that, $13. And I was like, what? Did I order something extra? Am I paying for the guy behind me? That kind of thing. It's because I hadn't been in McDonald's like 7 or 8 years.
Well, but this last year, especially, and it's because of the price of all of their products. I mean, they talk about how, oil used to be this much and now it's like 8 times more than that. So, but it is ridiculous. And as a family, because we ate out so much, it's like, we do it usually now just on church night because we're running, and we try to do it as little as possible because it's like, it's $50 for my whole family of 4 to eat. And it's like, you're eating McDonald's. And
well, I don't know. I did talk about this, and he was telling me that his chicken is 4 times more expensive than it used to be.
Yeah.
So if anybody's thinking that they're not making, they're basically running at cost level,
and they're having to pay people more.
Yes. And
to be competitive.
And he was telling me box of straws are 4 times more expensive, and things like that, and
the to-go containers.
Containers, another one. We talked about this. We had this conversation. Oh gosh, before Thanksgiving, so it's been a little while, but I doubt it's gotten any better. But he was talking about, it cost, like 30% more to make his pies, just because of the ingredients.
Yep.
And and it just. I'm like, why does anybody want to be in the restaurant business?
I don't know. But so here's a funny one. So that the Jack in the Box value tacos, you used to get 2 for 99 cents. They're $1.29 now. So they're 30% increase. I mean, like you just see it, like it's 30%, and it's spot on it. It's funny because those dollar items that's where you see it.
The dollar menu,
increase.
yeah. Well, and to kind of get back to what we're talking about, the people you serve, that's probably what they access most, or the cheaper deals, the dollar menu,
and the health issues. And I know somebody that really grew up in true poverty. When she was like 25, she had to have her gallbladder out. Well, I mean, that's just another thing, because that's what you're doing to your body, all that fat and processed foods, and it's not healthy. And so as we help people, we're starting to we had stopped for a little while, but we're starting back into giving people recipes. How do you take a whole chicken and make a couple of meals out of it? It's so easy to do if you know what you're doing. If you have the time or want to take the time or whatever. So those are some of the things, like with Harvest House as we move forward, just trying to offer more classes as part of our long-term stabilization. That's a whole nother thing that we have going on, is just really trying to help people stabilize that may not otherwise.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'm going to end with one really good story then, can I?
You betcha. The floor is yours.
Okay. So we, if you'll be getting our newsletter very soon, because it's going out in the mail, or has already gone out in the mail. I can't remember. It's in the process of being mailed. But we have a young man named Landon who has given us permission to share his story. He grew up in the foster system and has been homeless in Burleson, living in the woods. And he came to us through a workforce program initially. And once that program was done, he really liked it there. We liked him. And he's like, can I just stay and volunteer? And so we said yes. So during the day, he would come and volunteer his hours at Harvest House, and has been doing that since like September, something like that. I mean, every day showing up. One of our staff has her husband's in landscaping, so he would hire him to help him sometimes on different jobs, getting him some life skills and stuff. Well, through this relationship, through us helping him, we ended up hiring him because he's just an excellent employee. And because he was hired, there's a program through Pecan Valley that he got housing. And then that program, he just has to pay 30% of his salary. It doesn't matter what your salary is. It's just 30% of it is what your rates are, or your rent is, as long as you follow the program. So here's this kid, and he's got a long way to go, because if you've been homeless, there's a lot you have to overcome. Plus, he didn't have a stable life when he was younger. But for us to wrap around him and others like him, and it could be an adult, it could be, he's an adult, but he just doesn't have the life skills because he didn't have that, that help. And that's where Harvest House is going, is how do we help people who want to better themselves at any point in life? Because a lot of times people just, something happens and it sets them way back. They don't have to be homeless. And they need somebody or an organization to walk alongside with them for more than 1 month, more than one payment, to help them get stabilized.
Well, that's Jewels and Crown. That's what you're all about, isn't it?
It is what we're all.
Yeah, it's all about. And we're thankful that we have y'all in our community to take on young men like Landon, because like we see this in other communities where they're just lying around the street. I was in downtown Fort Worth about 3 weeks ago for the first time around 4 PM on a Friday, I believe. And there were guys sleeping in the doorways and sleeping on the stone benches, and guys just hanging out, sitting at the curb. And I hadn't seen that in Fort Worth in a while. And people, concerned it's going to be moving down this direction. Well, it is. And how we respond is going to be a real telling mark about not just this community as a whole, but us individually, how we're going to respond. And so I really appreciate what you're going to do for this young man and what you're doing. Again, you want to end up with one more push for the Vineyard Vibes?
Absolutely. Did you get the poster? If you have a business and you want to hang it up in your business, we would love to drop one by. If you don't have money to sponsor, there's so many ways to help by just sharing this on Facebook. Let me know, and we'll come hang one of these posters. Stop by Harvest House. We have a bunch of these. And just come that day. The tickets are $15, so you can buy your tickets now. Bring a friend, buy a ticket for a friend. Just come out and have a great time. Share what Harvest House is doing, because we cannot do it without this. We are a community organization, and if the community's not involved supporting us, then that's all. There's just not much more to it. So we need you, and really, Harvest House doesn't need you as much as our community needs you, because they need Harvest House. Whether I'm here or somebody else is here, it's about the people who need the food. Look at the blessing boxes. So
right.
That's it. It's about helping your neighbors and trusting us to be a good vessel for those donations to go through.
Well, look forward to seeing you again. Well,
yeah, thanks for having me, as always.
Oh, that's quite all right. Well, it's my pleasure, really, because it makes me feel like I'm doing something worthwhile. We're going to try to get you booked on the show before the 14th. I have a couple of dates left. Even if it is a election season, some things take priority.
It could even be like the day before or something, just remind people.
Well, the thing about it, I like it. Well, if I do the day before, people will see it like 2 or 3 days later.
Like the week before then would be.
Yeah, right. Yeah, most people who access this show do it on their time, and
Absolutely.
so I've had people make comments to me from shows 2 weeks ago that they just saw.
I'm that person too. I watch it later. But it's just middle of the day. I'm working. So.
Right. Most people work for a living. I'm not like it. I don't have this delusion that people say, "Oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock. I set my clock." All calls off, Susie. No, it didn't work that way. It's they'll see it or hear it 2-3 days later. So that's fine. Thank you, Taylor, for all your wizardry. And
thank you, Taylor Perky.
All right.
That's me.
And let's see what we got next week. I know Monday we have Melissa Miller with the Burleson Area Chamber. We're going to talk about that showcase event, which was very, very good. We're going to talk on Tuesday, we have Tiffany Nico. Like I mentioned, we're going to talk about local life and that St. Patty's Day pub crawl. And where else? I'm already missing it. And then we're going to have, I have 2 shows next Thursday. In the morning at 9, I'm going to be talking to a city council candidate, a guy named Brandon Crisp, whom I don't know, but I know his wife from BHS days. She was a student and friend of my son's. And his opponent was on the show Monday, and so I, we want to know about what's going on. There's a good place to do it. Also,
what place is that? Which council place?
It's the one that Ronnie Johnson's leaving.
Right.
Place 3,
that he filled
I think
in.
it is.
That he filled in. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then at 11, Doughboy Donuts will be here. You know, but friend of Gala and Robbins.
Bringing samples, correct.
I
Okay.
have made that clear.
You just need to let him know everybody in town needs cronuts. Like there was this whole thing about cronuts yesterday, and I'm like, maybe Doughboy, and they're like, no one. We have to go to Arlington, so they need to get cronuts.
I'll let him know.
I'm just saying.
You're just saying.
It was a whole thing yesterday. It was so funny.
Okay. All right. We'll see y'all on Monday. It's been a full week already, and I still got to go get mugged by the grocery store. So there you go.
Don't get
Bye-bye.
mugged. Bye.